have something. It also made me think about men living out of their healthy masculine, women living out of their healthy feminine. And when you rely on yourself, I think as women, and I speak from experience in this, once I started learning the traits of masculine, feminine, I was tapping into my masculine. And that was a time of life where I was so uncomfortable. Nothing was flowing. Nothing was going right in my eyes. I was so pent up. I had the weight of the world on my shoulders. And then learning that, yeah, it's not living out of what we are designed to flourish in. It causes unrest in ourselves by trying to do a man's job.
They're trying to be a man. Yeah. And we can, men, men and women, we can pull from the feminine or the masculine. And there's nothing wrong. Like there's a time where we need to pull from the masculine. There's a time where a man would need to pull from the feminine and maybe be a little bit more nurturing with his kid or whatever. But it's when we start living from that place. If I'm a woman and I start living from constantly pulling from the masculine energy, which is a lot more forced, that will drain your soul. That will drain your soul because you're not tapping into your natural spiritual strength, which is your femininity. And so you're pulling from this masculine force and it's depleting you. Whereas if you learn how to tap into your feminine flow, it fills you and it sustains you, and you do get into this really beautiful flow. And yes, you can tap into the masculine when you need to, because we all need to kind of be able to go, between the two. But it's, what are you living out of? And unfortunately, I think because we live in a post-feminist world, most women are operating from a more masculine energy in their life. There's a lot of reason for that. A lot of us a lot of women were abused by men. A lot of women were abandoned by men. There's a lot of pain, and there's generational pain that's been passed on through generations at a cellular level, right? So this stuff runs super deep. But I think for where we're heading as a society, if we're truly bringing heaven to earth, like this is a space where redemption really has to make its way through. And I think it's women learning how to step back into their feminine and trusting that as we do, men will naturally respond by arousing back into their masculine. Because I do feel like men are not men right now either. I mean, I'm in the dating world for the first time in 11 years and I'm like, what has happened to the men? Right? Like, what? A lot of them don't have jobs. A lot of them are just sitting around. They're in their late 30s, early 40s, and they're like playing video games all the time. Like there's just an overarching lack of personal responsibility and purpose and drive and direction. And it's just not very attractive when you're a feminine woman who's looking for a very masculine man. But I think we've done this to them. Like we've done this to them. This is the reality we created. And so if we don't like as women what we have created and what we have drawn out of men, then we're the ones that have to repent for the generations that have gone before us that got us into this mess. And we have to start, and I think that it's happening. I think that there's a move in our generations of women that are waking up and going, no, I don't want to be the man. I don't want to do it all. Maybe I can, but just because I can doesn't mean I want to, you know? I want to stand in my own power, and I want my man standing next to me in his, and I want us to be powerful together in our own unique way. And I want us to complement one another. I don't want us to compete against each other, combat one another. So I think it's happening, which is very exciting. And it needs to. It's the only way that we're going to bring heaven to earth is as women get healthy in our own selves. And we step back into our hearts and we step back into our femininity And then we allow room for men to find their way back into their masculinity. And then we start coming together and we start learning how to create healthy attachments, and we start learning how to have healthy relationships and good communication. And we start learning and developing these skills and the resilience that is required to develop these skills. And then we start, healing the family unit, and then society is healed. But it's not going to happen if we choose the easy path that's comfortable and controlled, and we're all doing the hippie commune thing where we're all just living with our girlfriends and having children through IVF. That's not going to happen. That's freaking hell on earth, literally. And there will be repercussions. There will be repercussions because of it.